Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Canucks. My name is RevTrev, and I'm so glad that you're here because today, whenever you're watching this in the middle of the night, I don't know when you watch these videos or you're here in the live stream, whatever it is, we are going to be talking about, something just flew up in my head. We're going to be talking about Canucks first round NHL draft options. Absolutely. And so unfortunately, we only stayed at the 15th pick. I mean, congratulations to the Islanders for getting that first pick overall. I'm happy for you, but I'm low-key jealous. And then I'm really jealous of the Utah, I was going to say Jazz, Mammoths, I think is what the name's going to be, for dropping from 14th down to 10th. I'm like, dude, could it not have been the 15th pick? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk tonight about the NHL draft, the Canucks picking at 15, and just want to put one last thing in here. Okay, we're ready to go. So there's a lot to talk about, and a lot of people are sitting there and going, hey, Trev, what about this guy? Do you think he'll be available? And that's the thing about the NHL draft that's interesting, is even though we're picking at 15, we always know there are potential guys who are going to drop in the draft, because whatever the consensus is does not mean that's what the draft boards look like. And so what are the draft boards going to look like for the Vancouver Canucks? I just think about Willander and picking him at 13. And was it 10 at 10th or no, sorry, 12th or 11th? Benson went, no, he went after. Excuse me. He went after. And the Canucks fans are like mad because it's like, and I was thinking about it today, I'm like, what if we drafted Benson over Willander? I mean, right now with all the issues that are going on, but anyways, that's another thing to talk about for another day. I'm very, very annoyed that he is not signed in Vancouver. It makes zero sense. It literally makes zero sense for us to be sitting there on this thing going, oh, let's just wait a little bit. Why? Why in the world would we be sitting there waiting for this to happen? Why? Just, it's like, oh, we're making it so bonuses don't come. Okay, that makes no sense. It's like, you're paying him whatever you're paying him, $925,000 if he plays in the NHL. That's good money, right? If he makes the squad, if he plays up on the big club, that's awesome. And then it's like, but we don't want to give him any bonuses. It's like, well, if he plays that good, why wouldn't you? That means that he's contributing to the team, contributing to the success. And it's like, this is so strange. I don't get it. But have you ever thought, what if we just drafted Benson like the fan base wanted? Or are we going to use him as a trade chip? I don't know. Anyways, let's get back into, it's not supposed to be, it was not supposed to be a rant on Canucks draft picks, because we hit the jackpot with Quinn Hughes. We thought Elias Pettersson was a great draft pick, which I still think to this day that was a pretty good draft pick. Didn't like the contract he signed, but he still was a great draft pick at where he got taken. I'm still mad that we didn't take Matthew Tkachuk instead of Ulevy, but it is what it is, everyone. There's nothing we can do about that. You can't change the past. You can only change the present. And if you change the present, you can change the future. So we're going to try to change the present so we can change the future of this club. Now, when we get into it, I'm going to have 5 different players we're going to talk about this evening or this day or this morning, whatever you're watching this video. I'm going to talk about 5 different options that the Canucks are going to go with. So that could be possible Canucks, depending if they drop in the draft these players, or that we take them a little bit early than what you would consider consensus. But the first point I want to talk about is this. We need to remember that it's an entry draft. It's literally guys enter the league and then they don't play for a couple years. That is just what happens. I think about, was it last year? No, a couple years ago with Michkov, right? And it's like he dropped to 7th because he's going to work. He's going to play in the KHL for 2 years. Well, guess what, everyone? Most of those draft picks don't play right away. They're not the Celebrinis and the Bedards. They don't play right away. They're not the McDavids that play right away. It's mostly like the first pick or the generational talent. They play the next year. Everyone else, you usually wait 2 to 3 years before you see them. Think about the Twins. It took them forever to get to a place they were ready to go. And then depending on how old these players are who are drafting and all that kind of stuff, it matters. It totally matters. And so it's an entry draft, and these guys that we're drafting is sitting there and going, listen, these guys aren't going to play next year. That's just, so it's exciting for the franchise, and you need to have the a lot of tools in the tool shed. You need I was thinking about like a shelf with a cookie in the shelf, or I don't know. That's why I was like getting confused. But you need a lot of weapons as young players so that they can develop into the NHL players. And Canucks have always been criticized for not having enough in the cupboard. That's it, in the cupboard, right? So what's coming up, and that's why some of these trades with Mancini was important. We had DPD that has developed and looking. We want Leckermacki to become a regular. The Abbottster's playing really well. That's a really promising thing. So it's great. You got guys in the pipeline, Tolopilo, Baines, Ratu, who now looks like he could be a regular. This is what you're looking for, and this is what you're drafting. So just remember that good chance the guy we pick at 15 is going to take 2 to 3 years before he sees NHL action, and it might just be for a couple games, and then it's the next year where he becomes possibly a regular. So let's talk about the Canucks needs. And in my opinion, we have a lot of them. Very interesting that San Jose didn't get the first pick, but the Islanders did, because I think San Jose was going to pick Schaefer at number one. But when you look at the needs of the New York Islanders, because San Jose was going to pick them, they might go with Misha, because he's the elite winger, elite forward in this draft class, and I've just been really impressed with his talent, with his effort. He can play center and left wing. 65 games, 134 points, 62 goals in 65 games. This guy is lighting up the league. So that's, I think I could see the Islanders taking Misha, and San Jose still ends up with the second pick and gets Schaefer. I can see that. So who's going to drop, and what do the Canucks need? So sometimes what happens in these drafts is that the Canucks or whatever team, they draft by need, positional need, or they draft by best player available in the first round. And that is always a very good thing to do. But I also think in the NHL, especially, they draft by need and best player available. So they're like, I'm looking for this position and this, like, for example, right-handed shot defensemen are hard to find, right? Really hard to find, hard to trade for, all that kind of stuff. So I can understand why they go after players like that, because then they're highly valuable even in the trade market or on your roster. But in saying that, I think that the biggest need, and Rutherford has mentioned that they are looking for center depth. And that is where I'm excited, because this year's draft is loaded, and I mean loaded at center. So there is a great chance that we might get I don't know if I should say impact, but I think you have potential that you could find a number 2 center in this year's draft. There's potential. Now, there's always busts, okay? There's always guys who just do not pan out. So I'm trying not to overemphasize. And then everyone says that this year's draft isn't very good. But I'm not buying that right now. I'm not buying that. I don't want to discredit a whole draft class before they even get drafted. Let the kids go out there and play. So maybe this is the year where you trade up, because it's like, well, this one's not very good. We're going to trade up for this and try to accumulate a few more picks, because everyone's like, oh, this isn't very good. And then, because really drafting is not an exact science. It's like educated guessing. And that is what I'm sitting here watching the Canucks. You know, I'm personally frustrated, and you know me, I always get frustrated that the Canucks always trade their first round picks. And so we had 2 first round picks, and then we traded one away. This year, again, 2 first round picks was like, hey, we're going to go get Marcus Pettersson, and then we're going to sign him to $5.5 million for the next 6 years. And I'm like, I don't know if that's the best use of our assets. Is Marcus Pettersson worth a first round pick? My answer is no, because a first round pick, honestly, should be a guy that you're thinking is going to be in your top 2 for your defensive core, or you're going to be in your top 6 of your forwards. So Marcus Pettersson is not a first-line left-handed defenseman. That's Quinn Hughes. So I personally had a hard time that we traded away. I would have loved, absolutely loved, to have kept that pick and had 2 picks, you know. Now, was it protected? I don't think it was. So it was the Rangers pick. They didn't end up making the playoffs. It would be so nice to have the Rangers pick and our pick, but no, we traded it for Marcus Pettersson. And I hope that Marcus Pettersson becomes that guy, and he's the crucial key, one of the crucial keys to winning playoff rounds, and we go on. But it's hard for me to see at this stage after watching all those many games. I'm not sold on him yet. Maybe he's great. Maybe everyone's like, oh, he's amazing. You got to stop, being critical of him. And it's like, yeah, do I? No, I don't. I just haven't seen like he's good, but is he great? Is he worth maybe more is like, is he worth a first round pick? And my conclusion right now is no, he's not. No, he's not. I think he's worth a second round pick, but I don't think he's worth the first round pick. But it doesn't matter. It happened. I have to get over it. I get it. So I don't think Canucks needs RD, especially when you're picking up Marcus Pettersson now. You got Hughes, Hronek, Pettersson, D. Petey. You've got Mancini. You've got Tyler Myers. I think this is a solid core. I would be surprised if they went defenseman. And if they go defenseman, it would just because there was some guy who dropped and he was the best player available. And you're like, I can't pass up on that guy. So I get it. I totally get it. I totally understand. But in saying that, I think we're going center. And that would excite our fan base. And because there are so many centers available, I'm going to get into the top 5 guys. Now, one last thing before we get into the potential Canuck picks, okay? And I just want to thank everyone for being here. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe. Will the Canucks trade up go get someone they want? Will they pick at 15 or trade back? Or, and this one I think is very likely, that they will trade the pick entirely. They will trade the pick entirely. I hope they don't. This is my concern. Rutherford is getting up there in age, and I love Rutherford as our president of hockey operations. Okay, love the guy. Love his interviews. Love that he says too much. Love that he's honest. Okay, there's something about Rutherford that I trust. Okay, Alvin is tied to Rutherford. I'm hoping they're a good combination, but they did not sign up for this role to rebuild this team. Let me say that again for those in the back. Rutherford and Alvin did not sign up for their roles and their jobs to rebuild this Canucks team. You heard it here first, everyone, because that is why this trade, this pick is in play, and they are going to make a trade. By the way, I'm going to be doing some Canuck trade talks videos that you are not going to want to miss. There are some real doozies that I'm working on, and you'll want to see those. So I do think that the first round pick is still in play. So don't be surprised if we don't pick because we make a trade. But I would love to see the Canucks trade up depending on what the cost was. If it's like Höglander and the first pick to get up higher, let's do it. You know what I mean? I would also love to see us pick at 15, or if it was not the guy we want, we can trade back and get some more draft assets. Like if we could get a 1 and a 2 for 15 and move back 7 spots, let's do it. You know what I mean? So just interesting how the draft, I really hope we draft because it makes the draft so much. It's so boring when the Canucks don't draft. But I definitely could see them trading that pick. Okay, we're going to get into my 5 potential Canuck picks in just a second, okay? I also want to get into your comments. So if you're watching later, please comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these 5 players. Also, if you're in the live chat, post the 5, post whatever players that you want to consider, and we're going to go from there. So I'm going to hit the promo, and then I'm going to get into the top 5. No, not 5 potential picks. Okay, 5 potential picks. All right. So I want to just bring this up first, and I want to show you. This is eliteprospects.com, their draft center, but they have a whole bunch of options here, affiliated rankings. This is a great site. Cam Robinson is a guy that I really like to follow and watch a lot of his thoughts on who the Canucks should pick, which I haven't watched his stuff yet. I should have watched it before making this video, but I wanted to do an unbiased thing before I start watching this thing. But if you look at it, there's the consolidated rankings. There's Bob McKenzie's top 32, the hockey news top 32, McKean's top 32. Some other ones here, Craig Button's. But the one I want to go with, there's Daily Faceoff's top 32. Like this is pretty cool. NHL Central Scouting top 32 for, I think that's European, right? EU is a European. Draft Prospects Hockey top 32. So it's kind of cool. And other rankings right here. But here we go. I'm going to go Elite Prospects because it's their site. Okay. this is what we're going to be doing. And I think, am I already there? Okay, here we are. So this is their list. And as you look down this list, there are some guys on here that would absolutely love to get. So obviously Schaefer, Misha, Martin, Higgins, McQueen would be incredible. He's like 6'5", fast, solid guy, like amazing. I'm not looking at any of the defensemen. I don't want the left winger in Eklund, even though him and Fondell play together. Like, this is their list, right? Carter Bear. All these lists change with each rankings. So we're at 15. So I'm looking at players basically 10 to 20 and saying, who of these guys would be there? I don't think a guy like Roger McQueen or Higgins is going to fall that far to get to us at 15. And centers are always get drafted earlier, but there are some teams that are looking for solid defensemen. Like, we've talked a bit about Schaefer, but let's look quickly here at Jackson Smith. Okay, Jackson Smith, 6'3", 190 from Calgary, and like he's also here, right? Like ranked 9th, ranked 6th, all those kind of things. Okay, so 9th. Like this guy is not going to make it to us, except for Craig Button says 14th. Anyone got him? Yeah, okay. Recruit Scouting's got him in 15. Maybe he falls to us, right? So Tri-Cities American defenseman has tons of potential. Okay, has tons of potential. So, but there are some guys on here that I keep looking at, and I'm like, oh, those guys would be great. So we're going to dive into it. Okay. So, let's dive into it. Here's my graphics. We're going to talk about these 5 players, and let me bring it up. So, these are my Kempner Canucks draft 2025 possibilities. Now, the first one I want to talk about, and we got to talk about nationality here, because everyone wants a Canadian centerman. But I'm telling you, Anton Fondell is legit. And this guy might be the guy that you're like, this guy might drop. And I'm not sure if he will or won't, but man alive, he's just impressive to me. When you look at him, only 17 years old, one of the youngest guys in this draft, 196, everyone, as a 17-year-old. And then you look at his cerebral technician. This is what elite prospects are saying about this player. The only one I didn't see was Coates, or is it Coates? I don't know how you say that. I listened to some people talking about him and added, because I didn't see his on there. But the best skills for Fondell, and think about it, this could be a very realistic possibility. I know some people have him going in the top 10, but if he drops, I'm telling you right now, Patrick Allvin is taking this guy. 25 points in 29 games for Sweden. Cerebral tactician, dangler, two-way forward, ranked number 10. Is that right? No, actually on here, he's ranked 12th. Why do I have it as 10? Oh, I must have been looking at a different list. Maybe I looked at the Bob McKenzie list. That's possible. Let me just see. Oh, let me see. Did I mess that up already? Nope. So maybe it's the consolidated rankings. He is, it's paid content, everyone. Oh, they have him at 5th. I can just barely see it. Okay. I don't know what I did there. All I know is I saw him at 10. But no, I know what I did. I screwed that up. Jake is 10, and I put him at 10, but he's actually Fondell is 12. So just switch those two there. Okay. So that guy is the guy I think the Canucks will target if he's available. I do think that he's going to be taken before 15. Then there's Jake O'Brien. Okay. Jake O'Brien is a talented prospect, and I'm really interested in him. Again, thinking that he's going to get drafted before our time. I believe he is that centerman that, am I right about that, Jake? Or is he? Yeah, he is the centerman, Brantford Bulldogs. He played 66 games, 32 goals, 98 points. He is an offensive juggernaut, in my opinion. Would welcome him on this team for sure. For sure. And he's also the 17-year-old, 6'2", 170. Now, usually you want in like size ranges about 180 to 185. Okay. That when you're 17 years old, you're still growing. You're still growing. So I can sit there and go, yeah, I think I can see him, get a bigger. He's 6'2". He's going to grow into that body, but we'll see. Maybe he stays at 170, and then it's a little bit too much on the smaller side. And then there's Carbonet, right winger, very elite. I don't know if we're going to go right wingers. By the way, also right-handed centerman is what you see. I have 3 out of the 5 here, or 6. I have 6 players. I thought I had 5. I have 6. Charbonnet, Schmidt, those guys, you're looking at them. Schmidt, I don't think is going to come our way now because he's just too small. 5'7", 157. The guy has incredible speed. They call him a speedster. Incredible puck hunter. You have to be an offensive juggernaut to be drafted this high with that size. Will he be an impact player in the NHL? Very possible. You think about Garland, you think about Suzuki, think about Caulfield. Eventually they start producing. And so, I mean, St. Louis, there are guys like that you can take the smaller guy and just use his speed, because speed kills. You know what I'm saying? But Charbonnet is, or Charbonneau, isn't that Charbonnet? Why did I say Charbonnet? Charbonneau. He's 18 years old. 192 is his poundage. I like that a lot. So I wouldn't be upset about that. Again, all these other guys are Canadian boys. Justin is a playmaker, powerful skater, and puck handler. So those are traits that the Canucks want to go. Maybe by losing Brock Besser, they want to go get a right winger, and they're saying this guy's the best guy available. Drop to us. Then there's Braden Coates or Cote. Depends on how you want to say that. I'm probably butchering it. Right-handed shot, centerman, 18 years old, 6 foot, 183 for pounds, 63 points in 60 games. This is the guy that didn't have the best skill on elite prospects. So it's the high motor playmaker I found out from other sites. And that guy looks like he's fantastic. The other one is Brady Martin. And again, 18, but look at his size, 174. So then I'm sitting there going, why would this guy be up there? Not a ton of points, or 72 points in 57 games, and just looks like a great. But if you look at that description, he's a heavy hitter. And I've been watching highlights after highlights of him. He is laying people out at 174. He is laying people out. But I'm sitting there watching him because he's a physical forward. It says heavy hitter, physical forward, two-way setter. And I'm like, okay, that guy's going to play in the National Hockey League. That guy could be a playoff player, but is he going to be a second-line center? That is a great question. And also, you might be saying on this team, we don't need a centerman. We have Pettersson, we have Hedel, we have possibly Suter back. We've got Ratu, we've got Bluger. We're loaded at center. We're not going to go get a center. Well, you just never know. Also, there are talks, a lot of people saying maybe Hedl moves to the wing and he's not the centerman. I could see that happening as well. So there's a lot of options there. These are the 6 guys. I thought I only had 5. These are the 6 guys that I think might drop, or we might get around that range, or we take a couple picks early from what their rankings are. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments, everyone. So let's dive into your comments now. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Some of them have to do for example, I would love Carter Bear, right? From Everett Silvertips, 56 games, 82 points, 40 goals. But he's got some injury stuff there. I know that McQueen has some injury concerns too. Maybe he drops. I know Callum likes that idea a lot, but we're going to dive in. Okay. Hedl's speed would definitely play on the wing. Green, I agree. Donnie Diamonds is in the building. Yeah, Coates. No, it's not Coates. Coates is someone I trade back and expect to be there around 24. I don't think he's going to be at 24. Every consensus. Let me just bring it up for a second. Donnie Diamonds. He is at 17 on this list, but I'm going to just tell you where he's got on all the other lists. So 24 by the consolidated rankings, but 17 by elite prospects, 22 from Bod McKenzie, 38 from Craig Button. Ooh, maybe you're right there, brother. 12 by the Hockey News Ferrari, 19 by McKean's. Daily Face has them at 28. NHL Central Scouting has them at 20. So maybe you're right. Interesting. Absolutely interesting. So that could be a guy. That could be Brady Martin could fall into the lap. The question I have about Brady Martin is that is he going to be able to play the second centerman for this franchise going forward? That's the question I have. I feel like he has more potential to be the third line centerman or play the wing than him to be that. So, I don't. He's not Carbonneau's sons. Carbonet. Carbonneau. It's not Guy Carbonneau's son, no, because so. Jake O'Brien goes. He could. I think he's going to go in the top 10. A lot of people are here saying they're going to trade the pick for sure. Keeping it Philippines. I love it. They won't trade their own first pick. If they manage to acquire another team's first round pick, they'll flip that. Possibly. They are saying they're going to have to attack Vilander or Lekermaki to a first to get a legit C2, yet you don't think Marcus was worth the first and a cap dump. Yeah, I don't think that. But again, Green, I could be wrong about that assessment. So Fondell could go 5th. Yeah, he definitely could go 5th. Or the Canucks could trade up and go get him. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, probably. They would also have him as a two-way forward. Okay, I'm just going back up here. Yeah, they could, but where is he ranked? Let me go back. I don't see him on here. Am I missing him by is he up early is Eklund, Fondell, and then the next Swede that I see on the list is Eltorn. Is that his name? I feel bad, but this is the problem with the draft stuff, is I haven't watched them enough to get the names of everyone, and I feel like they always have to get to the NHL first. So stocky list, that's not a, are you just saying it's Frondell? Is that your nice way of like tricking me? Malcolm Spence. Yeah. There's all kinds of options, right? Like those defensemen are gonna knock down some of those centermen. That's the nice part. So, in my opinion, as a Canucks fan, you should be cheering every time a defenseman goes before us. So, Mike Bossy and Joe Sakic were drafted at 15th in their respective draft years. Let's go. There's a chance? You're saying there's a chance we will find someone at 15? Yeah. Green, you might be right. You might be right. Well, it will be very, very. This is interesting. We should also trade the San Jose third, 65th that we have for our third back from Montreal 79, so we can have the threat of an offer sheet. I like that. That is definitely, we're going to talk about that. I'm not going to be a fan if they flip the pick too, but it depends on who we get. Like Callum says, we absolutely have to do whatever it takes to get a center like Dylan Larkin. I would love it if we got Dylan Larkin. Absolutely love it if we got him. So I think, Angelo, everybody can say this about any player. It's like these guys are going to be gone before, but you don't know. We don't know. But like, look at what Dell says. Keep the pick. Barzal was picked 16. Now we're begging for him. Exactly. I don't see him on this list, man. Am I blind as a bat or what? Because he's not a Swede. I don't see him. Unless it's right there. No, I don't see him on this list. So I'll have to do some stuff. I like Brady Martin. I'm just wondering what's his ceiling like. And you're hitting at that size, 174. I don't know. I think I'd want a guy with a little bit more offensive talent than like all of his things are physical hitter or heavy hitter, physical forward, two-way center. I love that. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Is that a first round pick kind of guy? Because, I mean, now it probably is because he had 72 points in 57 games. So maybe I'm downplaying his potential. Maybe Brady Martin is the guy that we need to be like Brady Martin or bust. You know what I'm saying? So I would be happy with the pick. I'd just be there. Who's the best pick that Canucks ever got at 15 or later? Well, or later would be Pavel Bure. But first round, I'm not sure. Brock Besser. Did we get him at 24? I think we got him at 24. Yeah. So that would be my guess there. Yeah, Dell, the Islanders win the lottery, move up 10 spots. Canuck fans still waiting for their first overall, maybe next year. If it's next year, that means Quinn Hughes is gone. So yeah, just looking back to see there, San Jose, even with the second pick, will get a good player. I think they get Schaefer. That's my prediction. And they are going to be great in a few years. Absolutely. But this is a great question. They did say it was possible that Dobson comes available if they draft Schaefer. They were saying that Dobson was available last year. So, yeah, New York might be taking. That would be that's what they should do, but I don't know if they will do. Green, this is a good question. If New York takes Misha, do you think that makes one of Horvat Barzal available for trade? Possibly. So I think that them winning the draft lottery can change this franchise around. So yeah, I don't know if there's a strong possibility that Roger McQueen falls all the way to 15 due to his back injury, but we will see. There will see. The Canucks need another Swede, like a fish needs a bicycle. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Okay, let's scroll down. Green, no pick helps us in 3 years or less. We need guys that can play now. Offense needs work. That's what I was saying. Is I'm not ruling out that we won't even have this pick coming up. So yeah. Oh, Besser was 23. Oh, so I was wrong. Because all I remember is that Minnesota had to pick before us. They picked Joel Eriksson Ek, and they didn't go for Besser. I still think they're kicking themselves a bit on that one. But Eriksson Ek has turned into be quite a good center. And if I remember correctly, I think he's the number 1 center there. So maybe they did pick properly. But imagine both those guys still playing at high level here. Irwin says, more surprising is Utah's winning the bump with the Canucks virtually similar odds. I know. That's what I said at the beginning of this video. It's frustrating. Don't forget Alex Edler. He was 90 plus IIRC. What is IIRC? Draft lottery is the one place that the Canucks are consistent. Yeah. Is that we don't pick well. I don't know. Sorry, that we don't ever win it. So we don't ever get that higher pick. Kessler was 23. So Kessler, Beachz, bring Kuzi back. Bring back Kuzi on an AHL con. He's not coming back on an AHL con. He's going to stay in LA. Eck better than the flow. Sure. Sure. I think it's close, and because it's close, sounds good. So, what is this? What am I missing? In real? No. What does that mean? Okay. Hopefully Leckermacki. If I recall correctly, wow, all this lingo that I'm not in. I was so excited because I knew what BRB was. Man, I'm just kidding. Edler was in the not defunct 7th round. Yeah. So yeah, I think that Markellum saying in the first round after 15, have we ever drafted anyone really great? And my answer would be Brock Besser. Oh my goodness, everyone's out to get me. Everyone. So I just want to kind of clarify near the end of this video that I'm not claiming that I'm a draft guru or expert. I just like having the conversation. Okay? And so WDGT, okay? Whatever that means. What does Grogu think? Who is the biggest goon available in this year's draft? I don't know. I would assume like Brady Martin would be a physical hitter. They would be the gritty guy. I don't think he's a goon. I don't know who a goon is in this draft, but we can do some research on that. So, yeah. So again, not saying that I'm an expert. I'm still learning. I just think it's worse. It's worth the conversation, not worse. It's worth the conversation to start the conversation on who are potential players that the Canucks could draft. And I'm really excited about this draft, especially if we keep the pick. If we keep the pick, I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos on it. I'm very, very interested to see what the Canucks do. But I think I'm with a lot of you, and I don't even know if we're going to keep the pick. I don't think we're going to keep the pick, but And they'll have a coach by the draft. That is my prediction. So we'll see. Maybe they won't. Correct. Grogu says Canucks should keep the draft pick. Okay, sounds good. Green says we are going to draft no one because we're going to trade it, right? So Canucks are so using the pick as a sweetener. They definitely could be. But if you got like Callum said, a Dylan Larkin, let's do it. That'd be awesome. So they'll have a coach in place prior to the draft. Yeah, I think so too, Rome. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. I thought that would just be an interesting one. Tomorrow night, I'm planning on doing a Canucks trade talk video. So don't miss tomorrow night. There's actually a number of things I want to talk about. It's very interesting, all the reports and rumors that have been coming out lately about the Vancouver Canucks. But we might just trade the first for a practice facility, So we'll see. Anyways, thanks so much for coming, everyone, and being here. Appreciate you all for being here. Hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow night.